One of the most recent changes that occurred was with the assistance of DOJ, there was a 5 management system, I guess you could call it packet developed, including a personnel section. And I did look through some of those documents. I also was made aware that there was a recent MOU that was developed for hiring staff at the chapter level. I also looked through that document as well. But I am fairly familiar with the history of what has transpired with the chapters and their certification over the last, let's say, 20 years. I think some of you here were part of that planning way back when we had a legislative personnel office, and our office rendered a lot of assistance to the chapters to help you get your personnel together. And it's encouraging at this time that a lot of progress has been made, a lot of changes have been made to the staffing and the positions at the chapters. But I'm sure that there are also some areas that we still struggle with. But rest assured that you need to just keep moving forward and keep planning and doing the things that are going to make your chapter progress. I know that one of the components that was developed through the management system is the personnel policy. And it is pretty much a replica of the Navajo Nation personnel policy. There are some words that are changed in it. There are some sections that are left out. My personal opinion is that I do feel the document is too large for your chapter. If you really look through it, how many of those sections do you actually use right now? I think if you went through it and really understood what some of those components are, you may not have a need for them at this time. One of those examples is classification. You actually maintain a classification plan. I know that we recently did reclassifications on all the chapter manager positions, or the community service coordinator positions became chapter managers, and the clerk typist positions or the office specialist became accounts maintenance specialist positions. So that was one way we assisted you. Most of the information is, like I said, very consistent with Navajo Nation, and that's fine because, again, as Roger mentioned, you want to be able to continue the benefits that you have with the central government. And that also takes some planning, some implementation, and then you have to be on top of it all the time. As Roger mentioned, you can get penalized by the IRS or other federal agencies if you're not careful. But I think that it's good that you continue to have these benefits that you had when you were not a certified chapter. The other item I'd like to mention is that the Department of Personnel Management does still continue to provide recruitment selection services to the chapters, whether they're certified or not. They're still advertising positions, recruiting for you, referring those positions. So I think that will continue. However, there is no restriction for you to advertise at the local level and try to do your own recruitment in your area. We do at times get requests from specific chapters to assist them with recruitment or with helping them fill positions on acting status, those kind of situations. So on occasion I do have chapter officials come to the office and we work out a plan, or we try to address the problem they may be having. And we also give them recommendations on what they need to do if they are not able to successfully recruit employees or deal with other personnel matters. One thing I will point out though, our Navajo Nation Policy Manual was last amended on October 1st, 2010. Actually, the committee, our oversight committee, made that amendment on August 26th, or acted on it 2010, and then it went into effect on October 1st. And these policies, some of them are not the same in your policy manual. The biggest change that occurred with the 2010 policy manual was that we included the background check and relevancy assessment policies, because there is a Office of Background Investigations that is now established in Window Rock, and that program hopes to be the central repository that would be performing all the background checks for the nation. They have a agreement with Arizona Department of Public Safety that they are finalizing. Once that is done, then they will do the background checks for the Navajo Nation, at least at the federal level. And the cost is about half of what you would pay for an outside vendor to do these checks for you. So we are moving forward, hoping to get an executive order from the president to tell the programs that you need to use the background check office to get your checks done. And we also are within our department working on identifying sensitive positions, which would be the ones that are going to be required to have the checks. At this time, it's very important that we do background checks, because with the new technology that is available, all of that has just continues to advance every day. We see more and more applicants making use of these different technology, and they fabricate their diplomas or their certificates. They even can create their own transcripts. So we have to be on top of this all the time. We have to make sure that people are presenting true information when they apply for jobs. So that is something that you will probably have to end up doing eventually at the chapter, not just to protect your assets, but to provide a safe work environment, because you have elderlies, you have children, you have money, you have property that you all want to protect. So this is our latest endeavor, and we hope to get the MOU back from Arizona EPS this week and continue to move forward. So that's not in this policy that you drafted, but you know, if you're wanting to know how our background function is working, you just need to contact the background office, and they're located at Sabanito, New Mexico, about 2 or 3 doors down from the Subway store. You know, there used to be a laundromat there, and what's kind of funny is that people still come in with their laundry, want to know what happens to their laundromat. But they're located there, and they're almost fully functional now. The other thing I want to mention to you is a little bit about insurance. Roger avoided the subject because he's basically doing retirement, but I do serve on the Navajo Nation Insurance Commission, and I am the current chairperson. And I know that whenever a chapter becomes certified, they need to submit what's called a participation agreement. Actually, all of our member participants do have to complete this agreement, and then they become a part of our pool. And the other part of it is that you have to submit a resolution to the Navajo Nation Insurance Commission for approval to be part of the insurance pool. The commission meets the first Friday of every month, and we have been regularly reviewing these resolutions and approving them. So that's the process to continue your coverage. It's not a very difficult process, and we are amenable to acting on your resolutions as soon as we get them. The only thing I would stress is that you make sure you pay your premiums. We do have problems at times with chapters not making premium payments on time, and I'm sure you all know from personal experience that if you don't pay your car insurance or your house insurance or whatever insurance you may have, they cut you off. And basically what happens in our pool is that if participants are not paying their coverage, then the other participants are covering for them. And that's not fair to everybody. So please pay your premiums. We have excellent insurance, risk management, workers' comp, coverage, and employee benefits. The other thing I would include with employee benefits is that at this time the commission is considering an increase in the premiums for the members. However, it's not like a very big increase. I would say probably less than $2 for an individual member. And then it varies by families, depending on how many dependents you may have on your plan. And this is driven because of the high cost of medical care that continues to skyrocket every day. And we need to pass this cost down. It's been almost 10 years since we made an increase. So we hope to get that implemented possibly by January 1st. So you will see that slight increase, and you will also be notified of it. So again, those are just some things that are coming. I think those are the comments I want to make. If you have other questions, you can pose those questions when we finish, or you can talk to me individually. I'll be around today and part of tomorrow. So thank you.
Thank you very much.